Good evening, everyone. This is Lance Smith, and I'm at the Democracy Convention. I'm here with Samantha Pree-Stinson, who is running for local office in the city of Minneapolis.
That's right.
Would you give me just a couple-minute introduction to yourself
I'm needing to go downstairs.
What office you're running for?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm running for Minneapolis City Council in Ward 3. I am a mother, I am an educator, I am a U.S. Army veteran, and I am an advocate for people who I don't consider them to be on the margins. I say that we're in the median because we've made a lot of progress since the 60s with our civil rights movements, but now we're stuck on the median still trying to cross another lane of traffic and be a future forward-thinking city that lifts everybody up and not just the affluent. So we have a lot of challenges that we're facing besides civil discord with the complete lack of accountability with our current leadership as it relates to intergovernmental relations with the state and also our police force, but also with our housing crisis that we're continually facing. Also with our education issues that we see with our low graduation rates and what that means when those students that don't graduate come out and they're looking for job training and entering the workforce. Also when we're talking about wages, that's just one piece of the equation. So we can't just stop and say $15 was a success that's going to save us. We have to start to address cost and start looking at each corner of our city that we have not invested in. If you don't invest in something, you're not going to get a return. So what we see in certain parts of our city that haven't been invested is we see an extreme amount of an economic gap. So we have to change that, and we have to start providing governance that provides for the majority of folks instead of ruling for the few. So those are some of the basic concepts that my campaign addresses. And I feel that I'm the right voice for it because I stand on several intersections. We all are intersectional people. None of us identify in just one bucket. So this concept of left and right and conservative and progressive and all of these other terms are useless, and they actually are terms that continually perpetuate the divide instead of actually bringing us together on the commonalities of where we have sameness so that we can move forward instead of left and right. Because we see that polarization hasn't really gotten us anywhere, especially at the national level. And for a nonpartisan seat in Minneapolis, it is vitally important that the leader that steps into those shoes is willing to work with everybody, even the Republicans, even the third parties, even the Democrats. I myself is a Green, but beyond my party status, it's important that people have representation and that their voices are heard and they are valued.
Thank you for mentioning the issue of left versus right. We were just in a workshop and that topic came up, and that's a topic that I'm also getting quite weary of, the left versus right, and the red Kool-Aid versus the blue Kool-Aid, and these people are good and those people are bad, and it's just a complete like all or nothing, either or proposition, and it leaves very little room for people to have a bridge to work with one another, to work with people who may be very different from them. And so I mean, it's refreshing that you're talking about bringing people together rather than parties and focusing on that. Now, when you say that the city council seat or the position is nonpartisan, explain to people what that actually means to people who may live in cities or districts that are use a partisan ballot.
So we're used to a two-party system, and so what we see when you have a partisan seat, you have two parties in our current structure, the way that it operates, and we see what happens when they don't work together, which they don't. We see our government shut down and nothing gets done, and as a result, we as people don't get anything. So city politics, local politics, I feel, is going to be the foundation for how we drive change to the upper levels by driving it from the bottom. Grassroots movements that start at the bottom and push up instead of starting at the top and expecting it to trickle down. Because at the local level, being that we have these nonpartisan seats, we are able to focus on, if the candidate is right, we're able to focus on the issues and actually run issues-based issues-based campaigns that move beyond our own personal ideologies. Because when we get into those seats, we're representing, in my ward anyways, over 30,000 people that don't fit into a nice little package with a bow on it of left or right or progressive or moderate or liberal or any other term. These are people that are we're issues-based. It depends on the issue how we're going to feel. So we have to get into a mode where we're running issues-based campaigns, where we're touching on all of the touch points that are affecting us at the very foundational level of being human beings. So these are human rights issues, that these issues that I mentioned in the first section that we were talking about, these are all human rights issues. So when we establish it that way and we're able to start the conversation from there, instead of from a polarized section of left or right, we're actually able to best represent people. That allows us to have a council that is diverse, not in what they look like, but in their thought process, professionally and personally. And when you have diverse thought processes, you end up with more diverse, robust outcomes for people, the ones that you're trying to represent.
Thank you so much. And then just a brief, can you touch briefly on your job, or your professional background, and when or what caused you to get interested in politics, or if you've run before, if kind of your background with that.
Yeah, so this is my first time running for office, and my background is in organizational psychology, and I also have a certification in program management. And I've always worked within the healthcare sector. When I was in the military for 4 years, I was an Army sergeant who was a paramedic. And so I worked side by side with infantrymen and treated not only our soldiers, but also the local nationals there in country in Afghanistan for 14 months. And then I came home and I got into education, and I was teaching those medical skills of medical assisting and paramedic to students for certificate programs, and became an associate director of education. And then I moved on from there and got into the corporate sector, which was new for me, working at Medtronic, and I worked there for 5 years in our neurological division. But the piece that brought me the most joy wasn't actually the thing that earned me my paycheck. It was actually leading 2 of our affinity groups, and I was the global networking chair for our women's network. And then I was also our local co-chair for our African Descent Network, and helping those professionals be able to understand the barriers that they're facing in getting into those leadership roles, and empowering them and giving them the tools and the resources to be able to effectively navigate what those waters look like. So what I came to realize after all of this and all of those experiences was that I can have a greater impact. Empowering people is one thing, but I have to be within the position of power, holding the seat where I can actually make the rules in order to be able to truly make a difference where we can all feel it. Instead of just empty promises and running these campaigns of hope and not following that up with issues-based campaigning that moves us forward and not left or right.
Yeah, I think people are at the point where they really want to see action. They're tired of platitudes. They're tired of empty, generic promises, and they want to see someone who's actually going to take action. So, lastly, tell people where they can go to help your campaign, either donate or volunteer, and what's the time frame you're looking at?
Yes, so the vote is on November 7th. There is early voting in Minneapolis, but the vote is on November 7th. I want you to remember that you have ranked choice voting. So even if you look at my platform, and I'll tell you the website in a second, and you say, I really like what you're saying, but I also like this person, remember, we have ranked choice voting. So in my ward, there are 5 candidates. You can vote for 3 in order of preference of 1, 2, 3. So we're a city of choice, so you have that choice for me to be an option for you, whether I'm first, second, or third. The other thing I want you to know is that as running as a green candidate, I cannot accept any PAC money at all. So a lot of these organizations that do endorsing that give you money, I can't take it. So I put $10,000 of my own money up to run because I just needed enough money to run a campaign where I could get the message out. And I wasn't looking to run a sensationalized campaign of commercials and other useless things that don't tell you anything about me. So you can go to Pree-for3, which is PREE. FOR and the number 3.com. You can read my platform, find out more about me, events that are going on. You can email me from there. My actual phone number is listed there. You can call me. I like to meet with people individually. You can volunteer if you'd like to donate. You could also do that from the website. And if you're not registered to vote, you can also vote from my website as well, and register to vote from there. And it will tell you what ward you're in and all of that information as well. So it's really a one-stop shop. And you can find everything at Pree-for3.com. And I'm the same handle on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Pree-for3.
Well, this has been a real privilege getting to interview you. I've
Thank
seen you on
you.
the Green News Network before and was interested in learning more about you. And best of luck with your campaign. And if you like this video, please share it. If you support Green candidates and progressives, please share it everywhere. We need to get the word out as much as possible because the corporate media will not help us.
That's right.
So we need to all be the media, and that's one thing that I'm trying to do here. So again, thank you so much, and have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you.